Witches, blessed be. This is WhiteRaven over here. Today's Monday, so happy Magic Monday to all of you guys. Super excited to be here today. I am always extremely excited to be here every single Monday. Today I have a super spell for you that I was dying to share with you for a very long time now, which is for a very long time. I hope that this hex video spell ritual that I'm going to share with you today not only teaches you a few things, but it finds you in the right moment. And I wish from the bottom of my heart that can assist you and annihilate any problem that you may be having. I want to say thank you so much for all the suggestions that you gave me yesterday in my Facebook page, WhiteRaven and Witches Lair. I want you to know that I took notes, I wrote them down, and I'm going to be working in some of them. I did not choose any of those requests for today's video because 90% of those requests I already answer in this channel. So I invite you, witch, especially if you are a new witch in my coven, in my realm, in this layer of the witch, please check out my videos here in YouTube because witches, I have like 300 videos in this channel. Past 10 years, we have collected a lot of videos in here, and chances are there is something for what you want. Again, there were some requests that I found very interesting and I will love to work on them. So please stay tuned. I will be sharing some of those spelled rituals coming up in the next months. Witches, I noticed that the Facebook page WhiteRaven and Witches Lair has been growing a lot, like extremely fast, very, very, very fast. And I need to know if you are here today because of my page in Facebook. Let me know in the comments down below of this video if you are here and if you know of my channel because of my Facebook page. It's really important to me. I am working with Facebook to advertise my page, advertise my YouTube channel, and I want to know if it's actually worth it, if it's actually doing something positive for me, for the channel, and for all of you guys, especially the witches that have been with me for the past 10 years, because there's a lot of new people in the page, a whole of new people. So let me know if you're here because you find out about my channel in the Facebook page. Again, my name is WhiteRaven and I'm here to teach you witchcraft, what it is to be a witch from my perspective. If this is something that interests you, please stick around. You will greatly help me if you subscribe to the channel and also hit the notification bell so you know you're notified when am I sharing videos. I am here with you every single Monday, teaching you spells, hexes, rituals, book reviews, lessons. We talk about witchcraft. I want to be for you what I wish I had when I started. Which is, today we're going to be talking about a very uncommon element in witchcraft. We're going to be talking about the use of rawhide for our spells. But before we go into the spell, I don't know if you know what rawhide is. I know I didn't. I mean, I know what rawhide is, but I never knew that was the name for it because remember, I speak Spanish, so that word is not saved in the file of my brain. So rawhide is animal skin. And I'm going to read and quote from Wikipedia because there's not a lot of science behind rawhide. So rawhide is animal skin that has not been exposed to tanning. It is similar to parchment, much lighter in color than leather, made by traditional vegetable tanning. Rawhide is also more susceptible to water than leather, and it quickly softens and stretches if left wet unless well waterproof. So how do we use a rawhide? Well, obviously you probably have seen rawhide. That's what covers the drums. You make drums with rawhides. The tambourines you make with rawhides. You tie a lot of stuff with rawhide. And one of the most popular things that you probably see with rawhide is this. This one's for dollar store, which is what we feed sometimes our dogs. Personally, I think rawhide is not very good for dogs. So make sure that if you do buy rawhide for your dogs, it's a rawhide that comes from a good source. because the ones that they mass produce and they sell everywhere are not necessarily very healthy for our little pets. So as we saw, rawhide when wet stretches. So this rawhide that we have over here is extremely hard. I mean, you know how hard our doggies chew this thing. But when you put this in water, this gets soft. You can unroll this. Let me show you. This is rawhide that has been wet. You can unroll it, right? And you have this piece of animal skin that you can use for your spells. Because when rawhide dries, it constricts, it tightens. And based on that attribute that rawhide has, we are going to be doing our spell today. As a curious fact, and I'm going to quote what I saw in the internet, rawhide was used by earlier cultures as a means of torture or execution, gradually biting or squeezing the flesh of body parts it encloses as it dries. An example of this torture system was the infamous busking done by the Scottish. You can dig for this in the internet. There's a lot of information. The video today is not for me to talk about different way of torturing people back in the medieval time, but so you know that rawhide was indeed used at one point for torture. So you guys know that I read a lot, and the inspiration of this spell came from a book that I read, and which is honestly, I cannot remember which one was the book. It was one of my hoodoo books, so the inspiration for this spell is based on hoodoo magic. Please make sure that when you do this spell, you are justified and you respect the origin of this spell. Any workings of hoodoo comes from a lot of suffering and a lot of endurance. So please make sure that when you do this spell, you are respectful. As a matter of fact, every time you do a spell, which is every time you do a curse, make sure that you're justified and you are being respectful towards the magic and the energies that you're calling upon. Back in the slave times, there was this slave owner that was really, really cruel. Now, they were all cruel. There was nothing good about any of the slave owners, but there were some in particular that were really, really nasty people. And so one of the slaves created a dolly on his master's image, and he tied a piece of rawhide in his neck. After 7 days, the master died of an asthma attack. Now, needless to say, the spell that I'm sharing here with you is not to kill anybody, but we are definitely going to punish an evil doer. And because I like to read so much and I like to add things, omit things, analyze things, redo things, reorganize ideas in spells, I was reading this book that I love so much by Denise Alvarado, the Hoodoo Voodoo Spell Book. I know that many of you guys have this book. So there's a spell in this book in page 264 that is a spell to bind someone dangerous. Now, I get inspiration for my spells on Mondays. Number one, the requests that you guys send me. Your requests are my inspiration every single week. I also get inspiration on my own problems, on my own situations. I get inspiration on the problems and situations of people that I love and my close friends. And also, I get inspiration for what I perceive, what I see, what I learn in my surroundings and in society. The evilness and the wickedness of people drives my inspiration to do curses and spells. And because I firmly believe that there's so many underdogs out there with the need of help and nobody help them, I am here to share all these different hexes and nasty curses to empower you, to give you a solution, something that you can do in the secrecy of your own space where nobody is going to know because nobody needs to know. And based on that inspirations on things that I've been seeing lately, maybe too close to home, I'm sharing with you today this spell to bind someone dangerous. The first thing that comes into my mind, is pet. The second thing that comes into my head is an abusive husband. So this spell right here, right now, if you are the victim of either, is for you. I wish you the best, and I want you to know that I'm doing this from the bottom of my heart, hoping that it reaches you in the right time and you are able to constrict this evildoer. Okay, witches, so what are we going to need for this spell? Again, I did some adjustments to this spell. I'm going to follow Denise Alvarado guidelines, but I'll be adding a few touch of mine into this spell. Obviously, in this particular spell, Denise Alvarado is going to be using red ribbon. Me personally, I made a ribbon out of rawhide. In order for you to do that, witches, I suggest for you to buy different size of rawhide. You can go to the pet store, you can go to the dollar store. Put this rawhide in water. It needs to be in water for quite some time. Now, this one right here is a little bit hard, so it needed to stay in the water for a little bit longer. But once you have something like this, you want to cut this in a spiral. Sort of like when you are peeling an orange without cutting the whole thing and you end up with a cord with orange peel. That's exactly what you want to do. You want to start in a corner and you want to go around and around in a spiral. I suggest for you to use one longer rather than shorter. It depends on how big you're going to make your doll. You obviously are going to need a doll. A dolly with the image of the person that you are working. Meaning, if you have a picture of the person, you want to put it inside the head of the doll. If you have property like nail clippings, these are called taglocks of the person that you're working, you also want to add inside the doll. I already prepared my doll. My doll is already made, but this is an example of a doll that I have. You will put the person's picture inside the head, so nobody needs to see what's outside. And you can put any taglock from your target inside the body of the doll. This particular doll and the doll that I made for this particular curse, for this particular hex, was filled with Spanish moss. It is typical in hoodoo to fill up and stuff your dolly with Spanish moss when you are doing a curse. The next thing that you are going to need, witches, is going to be a black candle. You're going to need a bowl with water and salt. You are going to need frankincense incense. I have some powder over here. You can use the pellets, you can use a stick if that's what you have, but you're going to need some frankincense incense. Last, witches, and this is my add-on. If this was for me, well, I did one for me, but these are some things that I suggest that you can add into your dolly if you prefer. You can use some Dume powder. You can definitely blow some gopher dust into your doll. I use damnation powder for my dolly. Last, witches, I have been working on some oils for you. There's been some requests. There's been some other ones that I promised you some time ago that I have not finished, like damnation oil, for example, is still curing. This is another one that I did that is been curing for quite some time. It still needs to cure a little bit more, so it's not going to be available just yet. But this is domination oil, and it'll be in the website in the next couple of weeks. All right, witches, without further ado, let me show you how I did my doll. So over here I have my little charcoal, and we're going to add just a tiny bit of frankincense. You want to fumigate your environment, which is grab your candle, and we're going to anoint it with your domination oil. You can write the name of the evildoer in here if you prefer. That's something that you can do. Put it in there. Get ready, witches. This doll has been prepared with the target's items inside. So it's going to have tag looks inside right here. Maybe the picture in the head, some of the personal items of the evildoer of your target. Grab your salt water. Sprinkle some in your doll. Like your candle witch. You're going to grab your doll, witches, and you are going to blow on this doll his name. I have made you to be John Doe, and it is he that you are. Witch, say his name, John Doe. You have awakened this doll, and whatever you want to happen to John Doe is what you're going to do to this doll. If by any chance, witches, you do not know the name of the evil doer, then name him. Now, witches, let me show you what I did with my doll and the rawhide. Alright, witches, so I have my rawhide cord in here. It's pretty big and still a little bit wet. You don't want it to dry because you want it to dry on your dolly. It's pretty long, actually. I have 2 extra pieces of cord. One of them I'm going to use in the doll. The first thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to make a really tight knot in this doll's neck. This person is not going to be able to say any evil. No evil is going to come from this person's mouth. No manipulation, no gaslighting, nothing. Next thing, witches, we are going to cross the arms of this doll in the back of the doll, and we are going to make sure that they stay back there. And we do that by sewing. I pull the needle through the entire doll, front to back, front to back. That is a stitch in the front. You want to make sure that the arms are really tight in the back. Once you finish with that, you are ready to start binding this evil doer. Now, it's really important that when you are wrapping this doll, that you're doing it really, really, really tight. Remember, you're binding this evil person from ever doing any evil again. You're constricting this animal. Tight, witches. This is going to get really, really hard. And there you go. That's my little spun of evil and wickedness, completely controlled forever. Here's my dolly, witches. It's pretty dry right now. He looks like a cocoon, completely wrapped like a spider web. You know, I can only envision a spider wrapping him and wrapping him with her spider web. Because people like this don't deserve any mercy. No mercy whatsoever. Now, witches, you are going to perform this spell on a Saturday. This is why I already made mine. Now we are during one of the most brutal, hottest summer. If you are, of course, in my side of the planet. So you're going to put this outside under the sun and let it dry, let it shrink. Witches, if you live in a place right now or you're watching this video not on summer, and you have to make sure that this dries, even if it dries slowly. Maybe you can put it in a dehydrator. Just be very mindful. Don't put this like in the oven or something like that, because this is made out of fabric. The idea is, which is that rawhide needs to shrink, and as it shrinks, it will constrict this evildoer from doing any evil at all. Once this is completely dried and it shrunk as much as you wanted it to shrunk, you are going to bury this far away from you. But before you leave it in that little burial ground that you created for him, make sure that you put a heavy rock on top of it. You're never gonna come back. You are done with this curse. Good luck, witch. And that's it, witches. Thank you so very much for being here with me today. I hope again that this spell finds you at the right moment. Know that I will be working on the requests that you guys shared with me yesterday. If you have any questions, you can email me at layerofthewitch@yahoo.com. And remember that I do not work for people. Don't work for people. If you need a spell, please try to look first through my YouTube channel before you request it, because I have a lot of spells on my channel. And another thing, which if you're watching this video, if you need my assistance with anything, please make sure that you are subscribed to my channel. There's a lot of people out there that want a lot from me, and they're not even subscribed to my page or my channel. So I need your help, witches. If you still want me to help you, I need you to help me as well. I don't charge you for any of this. At least, please subscribe to the channel and leave a comment down below. Also remember, witches, that all the products that I share in here today are on my website, WhiteRaven and witcheslayer.com. Check out Denise Alvarado's book, Voodoo Hoodoo Spell Book. It's a great little book. It'll teach you a few wicked things, witches. Because, witch, you must stay so very smart. Knowledge is power. When you read, you learn things. And everything you learn ignites more things in your brain for you to add on, for you to redo, for you to adapt to your needs. Knowledge is power, witches. But with all that knowledge, you must stay so very wicked. Bye.